All right, 8:44 now. This morning, the newly formed Metropolitan Transit Authority is taking shape. The board will oversee every single major transportation project in the Charlotte area for the next 3 decades.
Well, last night, Charlotte City Council naming the people who will fill council's 3 appointments on that 27-person board. One of them is Cameron Pruette. He's a community advocate and the executive director of the Freedom Center for Social Justice. Cameron joins us live this morning, fresh off that big announcement. I'm not sure if this is congrats or apologies, only because this is a big responsibility and there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this group. Why do you think you were selected?
Thank you so much for having me here. And again, thank you to the council members and to the fellow folks joining this authority. 27 people is a lot. And I think I was selected because of my personal experience as an active bus rider, as someone who knows what it's like when the bus doesn't show up, and my background in HR. We're going to have to make so many hiring decisions as we move forward, both in who's going to lead the system and as we scale up to meet the community's needs. And so I think I bring a blend of both those skill sets.
So, Cameron, we know that it's going to be not just overseeing people and projects. It's going to be a huge undertaking for a long time. You are someone who can be an advocate because you ride the system. You know what it's like. What will be your priorities for this board?
Absolutely right. I think immediately we have to think about how do you structure 27 folks to both representatively and effectively make decisions. My priorities will be on that better bus plan. You know, we won't see new rail for many, many, many years, but we can give you better bus service within 3 to 4. We can have successful microtransit that makes sure our elderly folks and both folks with disabilities have better usage of the system within a year or 2. We can build 2,000 bus shelters within 5 years. And so my focus is on making sure those projects are successful so we can gain trust in the system for those bigger projects.
27 people is a lot of people. It's a lot of people to get on the same page. Trying to get all those people to agree to things is not simple. Do you think that's going to be a challenge?
It absolutely is, right? Even if we didn't have 27 folks, moving from a city system like CATS to a regional system that includes all the towns and gives them a seat at the table was always going to be new for us. And so, yes, I think it'll be a challenge. I'm still meeting my fellow folks on the Transit Authority. The county is still appointing their final 6 on December 2nd. So, yes, it will be a challenge and one that we have to be prepared for. One of the things about HR2 is you know how to work an org chart. And so I think also being intentional about how we're putting folks in committees, how we're making these decisions will matter as we build trust, not just with the community, but with the fellow folks on the authority.
Building trust and building out the transportation infrastructure for our area. So there's been a lot of talk about this, even before the proposal on the tax was passed back in November, earlier this month. We know that East Charlotte is not going to get the full Silver Line. Are you confident that will change as this project gets off the ground?
So I'm an East Charlotte resident. I live in District 5. I think my precinct voted for this referendum by just 3 votes. And so we have to be open to looking at how the plan will change. We have no idea what the federal dollars will look like, what the state action might look like in a few years. And so we should be open to new opportunities, right? Because East Charlotte deserves more investment. We have a lot coming our way with Eastland Yards and new growth. And so we have to be open to finding ways to help people and to overcome some of those obstacles and challenges that caused 48% of voters to vote against this.
Let's say you serve the 2 4-year terms. At the end of your time, think big as you can get. What would you like to see the authority accomplish in your time on it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of those key goals may be a little bit boring, right, for government to work well, but I would like to see that trust in the system has increased dramatically. I want to make sure that everybody feels happy hopping on a bus, hopping on a light rail. I want to make sure that our bus drivers and operators feel safer. I want to see ridership increase wildly. I want there to be stories about how no one thought ridership would rebound the ways it does because it's frequent, because it's safe, because it's clean. And so I think having those projects done in 8 years, and I hope in 8 years we are able to say that we are opening some new light rail station, right? Whether that's the Red Line or an extension on the Gold Line, but we have a new station that's operable. I know 8 years sounds like a lot of time, but that's still an ambitious goal for that.
I think regardless, and I don't really know Cameron,
right.
So this is not a political statement, but we talked about so long the formation of this and how it was going to have, transit specialists and urbanists and architects and engineers. And there was a real question about whether or not it was going to have an actual, real user
Have to have that,
of
yes.
the transit system. And so as a citizen of Charlotte, I am relieved to see we have the people impacted represented on this board.
Because here's the thing, whether you ride the bus every day or you don't, you're on the highways, you take light rail, we're all going to be paying more, right, with the sales tax increase. And so you want to have full representation. And it's so important. The people who use this need to have a say in how it's done.
Yeah, so Cameron, for all the folks listening who are about to jump on a bus or about to get on the gold line or the blue line, what is your promise to them? Because you might be their lone voice on this board.
My promise to you is my commitment to make sure that public input is not one hearing on a Monday night. My promise to you is to realize that 2/3 of the people who ride the bus don't have another option, right? They're not choosing to, they have to. And to make sure that they're heard at the table. When I take my 27 and transfer to my number 8, I know the difference, right? They're two different buses. One's got a screen, one's got the little red lights where you can't even hear the speaker anymore of what stops next. And so my commitment is to improve the system and to prioritize that in every vote. And again, just grateful to the community members who helped support me with emails and calls, and I'll continue to be as accessible as I've been before.
You got a big job ahead of you.
You certainly do.
A big job. But thanks for coming on. We know you were probably up last night with the big announcement, so we appreciate you joining us early here on WCNC Plus. Cameron Pruette. Thank you, Cam.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, we're back after this right here on WCNC Plus.